Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode, the pilot of Tea with Honey. I am your host, Raven Honey. Joining me today for this very special first episode is the tea, my best friend of over 10 years now, Danielle. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Raven.
What's up?
We're just vibing. We're vibing. This is my second podcast appearance.
Really?
In my career. Yeah, this is actually not the first podcast that I've been on. I don't know if I told you that.
How am I just hearing about this now?
I don't know. I was on a podcast with a Bay Area journalist.
Oh, yeah.
Jarvis Harshaw, a couple years ago for work.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's cool. So me and you, we've been friends for a really long time. I remember meeting you. What's it called? The introduction to high school. What's it called?
Orientation.
High school orientation. And we had to we were in the same group and we had to pair off, and just me and you just paired off right away, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, we were just coincidentally sitting next to each other in the same group, and then we were just you, me, yeah. Right? Okay, cool.
What's funny about that though is we became really good friends for the first 2 weeks of high school, and then we literally weren't we were in the same group, but we weren't friends with each other. And then we came back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that happened. We were friends, and then we were in the same group, but we weren't close. We weren't best.
Not yet.
We were I guess acquaintances, you could call that. Rolling in the same circle.
Well, we're the ones that started the group. I think once the group formed and we each started making more friends and bringing them into the group, we both drifted from each other. And then later we got back together, and then now here we are. Before we get into all this stuff, what's going on in your life? Anything, any drama, any tea that you can spill for us to start us off?
Current events in my life. I start school tomorrow. I'm starting my very last grad school.
Educated.
Soups educated. About to have 3 letters after my name. But yeah, I start school tomorrow. I'm definitely not ready. I've been working overtime basically for the past few weeks as an editor, and that's I'm mad at past Danielle for convincing me that I could learn how to be a color correction specialist in a week. Anyways, I start school tomorrow. LOL.
Well, what's happening with me? Speaking of editing, I am now 100% editing my own YouTube videos. So,
oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you. Up until this point, I have not been doing the editing at all. And then now I'm taking my career in my own hands. And that's why I'm also starting a podcast, because I've always wanted to do that. So here we are. Thank you for being here. Oh, one other thing. I started dog training again recently as a career. Mm-hmm. And I was originally I was thinking so long. It's at a pet store. I won't name names, but I'm pretty sure everyone there's only 2 pet stores that exist. So I'm a dog trainer at a pet store.
Wait, how long have you been working there?
3 weeks.
Oh my God.
But I must have been doing store stuff because I have to get certified, and I'm finally gonna get certified. So that's cool. I have to I'm gonna start that this week. But one thing I want to talk about working at a pet store that's weird stuff that I didn't consider is I have to catch crickets. We keep them.
Catch them?
I have to catch them. They're in 2 giant garbage cans that are just filled with crickets. So what I have to do multiple times a day, every day at this job, is someone will say over the walkie-talkie, "Oh, I need 20 large crickets." I go in.
You have to go get them out
I have to go, and in the back, I have to unlock the door where the crickets are. I have to get a bag, and then we have a funnel. I put the funnel in the bag, and then I take an egg carton and I shake the crickets into the funnel, and they go into the bag, and then I have to hold them up and try to count them. And I always give people more crickets than they ask for because they're just really, really hard to count. So, and the other day, this older lady came in, and I guess her son has a gecko, and she's like, "I never do this before. Usually my son does this himself, but I need some crickets. How much are they?" And it's 17 cents a cricket where I'm at. Pretty good. And she's like, "Okay, so $5 worth." And I was like, "Okay, so 25 cricket." And she was like, "No, that's way too many crickets. Give me 10." And that was only $1.25. First of all, she paid with a $100 bill.
I'm dead.
Don't. I was like, why did it matter?
Like that too. Oh my God, wait, can I curse on this podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, old people do be doing that.
I was like, first of all, why did it matter with your stingy? You wanted to only pay $5. You're only paying $1.25, and you have a $100 bill. You couldn't spring that 5. It would have been easier to give you change. And then I was like, "You don't have anything smaller?" She's like, "No." And I'm like, "Dude." Don't do that. If you're at a store and your purchase is less than $20, don't pay with a $100 bill. Just don't do it.
Got 5 quarters.
You don't got. I know, right? But anyway, and then I went and got her the crickets, and then I handed her the bag. I like extended it out to her, and she puts her hands up, and she's like, "Ew." And I was like, "This is what you asked for." What did you think? What did you think it was gonna be in a box where you couldn't see what was inside? It's a clear bag of crickets, so you know how many crickets I gave you. And it was like so funny because I was like, "Yeah, it is weird. Like it's weird." So
I'm
that's
dead over her making a purchase, and then she don't want it. She like,
I know. Literally, she put her hands up. She's like, actually, never mind. And I'm like, "You already paid."
I would do the same thing.
Okay. Anyway, it's tea time. One thing I want to bring up, it's kind of cold tea. It's kind of old news. But I haven't had an outlet to talk about it yet, so I want to talk about it with you. Pete Davidson, as we all know by now, I'm a huge Pete Davidson fan. I've mentioned it on my YouTube channel before when I talked about bodies. I need to say this. I liked him before he was cool. I know I cringe whenever people say that, but like it's true. I liked him since the moment he got on SNL when I was like a junior in high school, and that was like what, like 2014?
14? Yeah, we graduated in 2015.
Yeah, so I've liked him since like 2014. And that was a while before he even started dating Ariana Grande. So I've liked him.
That was well before, yeah.
I've liked him since then, and I knew the Ariana Grande thing wasn't going to work out. I knew it was going to end, and it did. I am a hater. Sorry.
Honestly, but it's still, because as a certified Ariana Grande, well, I've tried to.
Yeah, how did you feel about that whole relationship? Because you're an Ariana Grande stan. I'm a Pete Davidson stan.
Yeah. Honestly, when they started dating is right when I got into Ariana Grande. Like when Sweetener had just came out is when I became a really big fan of her and her music.
Yeah.
So it was like a very short-lived era, obviously. I thought that they were really cute. Isn't Pete Davidson like a Scorpio? Because she's a Cancer. I'm almost positive he's a Scorpio, and Cancer and Scorpio pairings are like the most iconic.
I'm gonna ask Siri.
They were cute. The Pete Davidson track 14, I'm a fan of it.
When is Pete Davidson's birthday?
But I liked them, but at the same time,
November 16th, 1993.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that makes him a Scorpio.
Okay.
Like their relationship was giving toxic a little bit because they were like dating to married or engaged like so quick. And then Mac Miller died thinking they were gonna get married. Like that's kind of sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they got engaged and then he died like not long later.
I do think that if it weren't for like Mac Miller's issues, that like him and her would definitely be married today. Like
I really liked her with Mac, and it's not her fault. Like I was never on that train of like it's her fault. No, like you can't fix somebody like that.
Absolutely not.
And he had his own problems. But I thought they were great together. And maybe that's why she wanted to jump into engagement with Pete so quickly, is that like she like wanted a good guy who was like clean and didn't have those same issues, and Pete was like the closest thing, and so she was like,
not that he doesn't have hella issues.
Well, okay, yeah, but like she was probably a little bit blinded by that.
Yeah.
Because that was not long after she even broke up with Mac. But anyway, This is all years ago. This is very old tea.
Yeah, this is even older than the Pete and Kim tea.
Yeah, the new tea I want to talk about was Pete and Kim, because that was weird. And I love this meme that like Pete just like dates like all these like women who have been through it. And he like helps them out by like dating them and treating them good and like treating them like queens, and then moves on and gives them their confidence back, and then moves on to the next lady that needs to be treated like a queen. You know, like that's how I interpret the meme anyway. Is that Pete just makes you feel like a queen, and then he bounces out of your life. So with Kim, that never made sense to me from the beginning. And obviously I knew that was going to end. And it ended much quicker than the Ariana Grande thing, because that one worked a little bit better, closer in age, probably closer in what they wanted and what they wanted to do at the time. And
how old is Kim Kardashian?
She's like 40 something.
Damn.
And she's got four kids. So it's like, and Pete's 28, so it's like, and that's the reason they broke up. They like said that is because like he's like the type of person to like randomly get on a plane to Italy to go get some food, and she's like, I can't do that. I got kids.
Yeah.
I got kids. I got shit to do. And he's like, you know, young, and he wants to travel, and he's got all the money in the world. You know, it's like it wasn't gonna work out, and it didn't. But I saw there's like now rumors now that they got back together. But from what I could see and research, That's not true, because that makes no sense with how they ended it, because they're obviously in different places.
Things have changed.
None of that's changed.
They're still the same ages. They're still living their respective lifestyles.
Yeah.
Like, I think, well, I'm lightweight wondering, who do you think he's gonna date next? Like, because he done got Ariana Grande. He done got all these other beautiful women in between Ariana Grande and Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
And Kim Kardashian is like one of the top socialites, like celebrities, famous for nothing.
Yeah.
Like late girlies, you know? Like,
I know. She's
top
like
of the beauty standard. Who is he gonna get next?
She's like the epitome of conventional beauty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like where do you... she looks different every year, and all of it is like very manufactured, but not thinking about that. That's just how it is, you know? And so it's like, where do you go from there? What do you...
Right.
If I was Pete's next girlfriend, I'd be like, how do I fucking compare to even just Ariana and Kim, but also all the models he's dated in between? Like, how do you go to Kim and then go to like a regular ass person?
Right, just like a nobody, bro. What if he dates like?
He needs to date somebody for the substance, for the personality that like matches with his and has the same like goals in life as him, and shouldn't just be about like the looks. Obviously, that's like a big part of it, is you want to be attracted to your partner, but there's so many people in the world. I have to believe he's attracted to more than just that. You know what I mean?
Okay, I have literally an insane idea.
Okay.
What if he was dating Demi Lovato?
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
I don't like that.
Why?
I don't like Demi. I think
they're
like...
know you didn't like Demi Lovato.
I used to, way back in like Sunny with a Chance days.
In their Disney days?
And then they became like... I don't know. I just feel like I'd be like, if we hung out, I think they were like annoying. I'm just annoyed. I just think they're like weird and annoying.
I'm about to make the case. Are we still talking about Pete and Kim?
We can move on to Demi if you'd like.
Because I'm about to make the case for Demi Lovato, because please. I have over the past 1 year basically, like I was a Disney kid, right? Grew up on Disney, and I loved Camp Rock, obviously. Sunny with a Chance, like everything that Demi Lovato was in, the Princess Protection Program. Like
I didn't watch that movie, and I never watched Camp Rock. I only watched Sunny with a Chance.
You've never seen Camp Rock?
I should.
You've never seen Camp Rock. This is literally like news to me.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
I like the Jonas Brothers. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, but anyways, after that, I wasn't really a huge fan of Demi Lovato's music. It was very, very like high pop, and that was just like not really the music that I've gravitated towards in the past, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of where I'm moving towards right now. But nonetheless, right. But their last album, Dancing with the Devil, came out last spring. I believe it was like April or something. Mm-hmm. And that was like one of my albums of the summer. That and Olivia Rodrigo's album. I loved that album because to me, and that album did not do numbers for whatever reason, despite having an Ariana Grande feature on it. But that album to me was giving Ariana Grande Thank You Next vibes in terms of the like sheer honesty and like bearing your heart on an album. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not necessarily the same tune and type of music as Thank You Next. It's not the same sound. But I loved their honesty on that album. And just from the album told like a really true story of like their trauma and their experience with like being addicted to drugs, to working on sobriety, and like also working on their eating disorder. But yeah, so that album put me onto Demi Lovato, and then they just released their newest album, Holy Fuck, which was giving very much like early Demi Lovato rock, camp rock sounds, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like their song La La Land, it's definitely like you can see the transition from La La Land to this album. But I feel like Demi Lovato has just been through so much.
Yeah.
And like they've told so many different parts of their story, from like the abuse that they faced on the set of Camp Rock, and like also just growing up in the starlight as a young teenager, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. The child stars, that stuff was so traumatic for them.
I know about the Wilmer Valderrama stuff, how they dated when Demi was 17 and Wilmer was like 29.
Yeah, and what's crazy is I didn't realize that was happening as it was happening. I only found out about that when they released their single, I think it was a single 29.
Yeah.
Talking all about that relationship.
Yeah.
And that song really like spoke to me, and I'm really glad that they put that out. You know what I'm saying? I think it spoke to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because some of the lyrics, it's like, finally 29, funny just like you were at the time.
Yeah.
And Demi Lovato is 29 now. And they've talked about this too, how it's like looking back on your relationship with an older person when you were a teenager, when you get to be that adult's age,
Yeah.
and you realize at your age right now, you would never think about dating a teenager.
Yeah.
That's when it hits you that that was not okay, and that should not be condoned or celebrated, and that like teenagers need to know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what's funny? When I was, I think I was 18, 19. You know what? No, I was freshman in college, so I was 18. I dated a 25-year-old for a while. And I am going to be 25 this month. And so I'm thinking about that. And you know, it's not even like, it was legal and not as like gross as and not as big of a gap at all, and I didn't feel weird about it at the time, because he was also like still in school and stuff, so it felt like we were on the same playing field. But now that I'm like 25 almost, and I'm thinking like I dating like an 18-year-old boy right now, like no way. I would never date an 18-year-old, 19. I wouldn't even date anyone, like I'd preferably date someone older, but if I were to date someone new right now, I would not date anyone under like 22, 23. Like that's the lowest I would go.
My partner right now is 9 months younger than me, and I be thinking about it sometimes. I'm like, I don't know, queen, like this is a little.
My boyfriend's 8 months younger than me, and like all the time I'm like, that's like the one thing I don't like, is that I'm a little bit older.
I feel like I'm robbing the cradle, even though the same age.
I know.
But like real talk though, it's crazy how that happens when you're older. But that makes sense, because when you're a teenager, you're just caught up in, oh my God, this older person, I think I'm so cool. I think this older person is so cool. And I feel like that's normal for a teenager to experience. And it's normal for teenagers to want to date early, because they're teenagers, you know what I'm saying? We make not the best decisions at that age. But as a 25-year-old, as a 28 and 30-year-old, consciously with your full frontal lobe, picking your girlfriend up from high school,
oh my God,
you're a predator.
Ugh.
And it doesn't even matter if that person is 18 and you're 28, 29. They just graduated.
10 years is a big difference when you're that young. The only time 10 years isn't a big difference is when you're like...
is if you're like over 25.
Yeah, when you're like 35, 45. That's fine. That's whatever.
Yeah.
But like 20 and 30 even is like, ugh.
That's too weird for me, because I'm only 25. Like you said, like I'm 25 right now. I'm with you. I wouldn't date anyone younger than like 23 and a half.
Yeah. You know, preferably not even. Like, preferably.
Not even, right. Really, I'm not trying to go any lower than 24.
Yeah.
Just because I want to date someone that's on my same level of life experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even date that much older, to be honest. I probably wouldn't date someone older than 27 at 25 right now. I'm
like a 2-year span around my own age.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not getting out of that circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a lot of this stuff is coming out now about like the mistreatment of like Disney kids and whatever, which has been coming out for a while. But I think a lot more is coming out now because of Jeanette McCurdy's book. Yeah. Which I'll be interested to read. I haven't yet. Kyle, my boyfriend, has listened to the audio version. And from what he tells me...
do that. I wanted to listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, from what he tells me, there's like a lot of crazy stuff in there. And that happened to Jeanette McCurdy too. When she was like 17, 18, she dated someone who was like in their 30s. Like from the set of iCarly, and she had to like hide it from everybody. MTV exposed it. She ended up getting disowned by her mom over it. It was like, but none of that was her fault, obviously. Like, that dude's if you're 30 and you're dating someone under...
who's on the set of iCarly?
Who's dating someone who's 17, 18 years old. No, I think what happened was he, like, waited until she turned 18 to date her. But even then, if you're 30 dating an 18-year-old, disgusting.
If you have to wait for someone to be of age to date them, jail. Because that means that you were attracted to this person when they were not of age, and you had to wait. That's disgusting.
Yeah. Have you heard about the Dane Cook thing with his girlfriend?
No, I don't know.
So Dane Cook is a comedian who is famously not a very good comedian. He's like stolen jokes, and he's just like very basic surface level comedy, like, you know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really listen to his comedy because I don't like it.
Yeah, that gives me a good vibe, though. That gives me a good picture.
He's in the movie Employee of the Month, which is a okay movie. It's like one of those like corporate comedy movies where it's like, let's shell out a comedy. So he's one of those comedians, you know. So he's dating. He just got engaged to his girlfriend. He's, I think, like 40 something. His new fiance is 23, and they've been together for like 5 years and known each other for longer than that. So I think when it came out, like, oh, Dane Cook engaged to longtime girlfriend, we find out longtime girlfriend is only 22, 23 years old, and we're like, how long is long time? Right. Because like you're already like 43 years old.
He hasn't been an adult for a very long time.
I know.
Me in a long time.
Yeah, so that was weird. But you know, it is giving grooming. And I don't know. It's just, this is reminding me of like, I know a whole bunch of like teenagers who are married. I know a lot of Mormon people. And
for whatever reason.
Well, that's a story we don't have to get into today, but I can explain why I know a lot of Mormon people, but that would be a whole episode in and of itself. Episode 2, Raven and the Mormons. But anyway, there's this Mormon couple I know. There's a few. There's one who they were dating in high school. They got engaged and married in the same year at 18 years old. So now they've been married for like 2 years now, and they're only 20. And it's crazy. And then these other ones who I know met, started dating, and got engaged all in the same year. And
no time.
And then they've been married for less than a year now, and she's already pregnant. And what I want to say about that is, like, with, like, religious people, like, getting married, I know a lot of people, like, why get married so young? Like, why don't you just, like, date and get to know each other?
It's because they want to, you know?
They want to have sex. They do. They want to do it. And, like, that's, you know,
yeah.
That's, like, being blunt about it. And I don't think any of them will ever acknowledge it. It's like, oh, you know, the goal to date is, like, to marry and find who you're going to be with God and have kids and procreate. But it's like, why do you need to do that so young? You don't. I know that the reason you're doing it is because you're young, you have hormones, it's normal to want to do that with somebody, but your religion is so strict that it's like
folks that they're not supposed to, that's like morally wrong.
Yeah,
which in my opinion is not true.
I don't think so either, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's like that it's natural, you know, to spread love. I don't think love is ever wrong. I don't think love would ever be wrong in God's eyes and how you choose to express that love. And then getting married so young just so that you could do that, like you're with someone for not a lot of time.
I feel like there are easier ways to have sex as an 18-year-old than to like sign a contract.
Than to get married.
Binding document.
And so they're like, I want to sleep with you. And they're taking that, maybe they're taking it as feelings as like, I'm in love with you and want to be with you forever. Because I feel like everyone feels that way in their first serious relationship, you know? And so it's like, let's get married in less than a year. And then let's just start doing it all the time once we're married. And then, oh, now I'm pregnant. Babies. Now I'm pregnant at 19, you know? And it's like, you might think that's what you're supposed to do, but you have so much life to live that now you can't live because now you have a kid and now you have a husband.
Yeah.
And you can't do as much.
I blame the religions, though. I personally blame the religions that...
Yeah, I don't blame them. They think they're doing the right thing. And I don't blame them for that. That's how they were brought up. It's not her fault. But it's like, I'm just thinking like me now. Again, almost a 25-year-old. I don't want to be married with a kid right now, you know? I'll be like, you know, if marriage comes, like, I'll welcome it in the next few years. But kids, definitely not. Because there's so much I want to do first that having a kid will just keep me from doing. I can't just get up and go whenever I want when you have a kid, you know?
Also, we Gen Z, we broke anyways.
I'm broke. I can't afford all that. I can't afford all that. I can't even pay for myself.
On EBT. Let's be real. Like...
I'm not even making enough money to like pay my own like rent and stuff right now, you know. So I gotta work on me, you know. And I'm just thinking like if I had married the first person I wanted to sleep with and the first person I had a relationship with, I would either A, be divorced already, or B, be in a very unhappy marriage. And you know, and it would have only been a few years later because the first one where I did think I was going to be with the person forever, it was really great for the first like 2 years.
Right.
And then it dropped off and I didn't want to believe it because, you know, first love, you don't want to believe it's going to end. And then it did, and I was just, and after it finally did end, it was like, oh my gosh, like, thank God I didn't stick that out, because I would be so unhappy.
Imagine if that ended, but you were married, and now you got to figure out who's going to take what, and did you sign a prenup?
If I had married him in that first year,
at 22, absolutely not.
You need to know the person. You need to go through hardships with them first. You need to see what they're like when they're sick, when they're broke, when they're angry. You need to, like, see how they live, you know, live around. Even if you don't want to live with them, like, be with them at home enough times to know what it's like to live with them, you know. Right. You don't want that to be a surprise.
I think the moral of the story here is have premarital sex and have as much of it as you want.
Public service announcement.
Premarital sex, as much... What is it called when you live with your partner? Cohabitation?
Yes.
As much of that as you could possibly desire.
Do it enough times until, you know, that doesn't become a factor, and if you want to marry them or not. Because if one of the main factors is you want to sleep with them, that's not a good enough reason to marry somebody. Sorry, you're probably going to want to sleep with a lot of different people. Right. And, you know, waiting until marriage is fine, but, like, don't only wait 6 months.
Right. Like,
if you want to wait
a couple years or something.
If you want to wait until marriage, just stick it out for at least 2-3 years at least.
Go through a couple hardships first.
Stick it out. You can wait. It's fine. Do something else, you know? You can get around that and still be satisfied. It's okay. So, yeah, that's what I want to say about that. And now, speaking of sexual things... there's this movie coming out that a lot of people are talking about, and the reason I'm relating it to sexual things is because of the marketing for it and the trailer, and the reason I really didn't want to see it in the first place. It's called Don't Worry Darling. Have you heard of it?
I haven't heard of this at all. As
really?
A filmmaker myself, so tell me about it.
Well, you're a filmmaker who doesn't watch a lot of movies, so I am not surprised that you don't
tell people that.
I'm not surprised.
I watch enough movies.
Okay, but I've seen it mostly on Twitter. So if you're not like active in the Twitter sphere,
I'm not on Twitter at all.
Yeah. No. So I've mostly seen it on Twitter, and I keep up with movies. I am on the AMC A list. I see everything that comes out, or like most things, you know. I try to see something at least every week, and so if it's not something I want to see, I'll just see anything. And I keep up with movies. And this movie, Don't Worry Darling, is directed by Olivia Wilde, who directed Booksmart. I think Booksmart was her first.
I love Booksmart.
Booksmart's a good movie. I like it.
I've seen that like 3-4 times. I love that movie.
It is. And so I was kind of, when I heard like Olivia Wilde was going to make another movie, I was like, oh, like cool. Like I really liked Booksmart. I think Don't Worry Darling is only her second. So we're going from that to this. And it's starring Florence Pugh, who I really like. She was in Midsummer. She's been in a bunch of other stuff, but I really like her in Midsummer. And Harry Styles of One Direction fame.
Harry Styles is in this movie?
Yeah. And that's part of the controversy, because get this! Originally, it was cast as Shia LaBeouf and Florence Pugh as the main couple of the movie. And, you know, what the movie's about isn't even really important. It's not out yet. It's coming out soon, and I will see it when it comes out. But I didn't want to at first, because the trailer opens with, like, a lot of Harry Styles and Florence Pugh like kissing and like having sex and whatever, and it's supposed to be a thriller. It's supposed to be a horror movie, so it's like I think it's like a period piece. It looks like they're maybe in like the 40s or 50s or something, and then it's like kind of like a weird like commune or cult thing led by Chris Pine, and it's I don't know, something's going on essentially to Florence Pugh. And her husband or whatever, Harry Styles, is like, nothing's going on. What's wrong with you? It's supposed to be like one of those like psychological thriller horror movies. But a lot of the trailer was like making out and like sex. And I hate that. I'm fine with sex scenes. I don't care. I don't like watching people kiss. I think it's gross. I don't like listening to it. I think it's disgusting. I just don't like it. And I don't think like excessive sex, it's a thing that happens in horror movies where it's just like lots of sex scenes as a way to like, I don't know, either put
make it like more shocking, I
guess. Make it shocking.
Like,
maybe it's to put boobs in there. I don't think that's the case for this movie, but in slashers, like, if they, you know, the characters have sex, it means they're immoral or whatever. In this movie, I don't think that's the case. I'm not really sure why she would put so much sex in it, because part of the marketing, Olivia Wilde has stated that it's focusing on female pleasure, and there was like a line about like, oh yeah, men don't come in this movie, you know, it's all women, and it's like, well, is this a horror movie or is this like a romance sexual thing, you know? Is it both? But if it's both, like, how do those things play into each other? Like, why do we need why do we need a lot of sex scenes? And that was like a big controversy with Florence Pugh as well, who was like, I don't know why we're focusing on the sex. Like, I feel like when you break a movie down and just focus on like the sexual stuff, it kind of like takes away from the story and like every other aspect of the movie. Like, why do you just want to put sex on screen? But about the whole Shia LaBeouf thing, is that originally he was supposed to be Harry Styles' part. And then there was that whole thing about how Olivia Wilde claimed that he was fired, but then he was like, no, I quit because we didn't have enough rehearsal time and like it just wasn't working, so I quit. So I don't know why you're saying you're fired me. And it was this whole thing. And it is weird that Harry Styles is in the film because, one, Harry Styles is not an actor. He's been in movies, but he is not a main character actor.
That surprised me.
He's a side character. You know, he's in whatever war movie he was in. I haven't seen it, but he was in something, and he's a side character, or, you know, because sometimes, you know, musicians are, it's not weird that musicians are in movies.
Yeah, they get their little acting money.
Usually they're not the main character.
Albums or whatever.
Yeah. Unless it's like Lady Gaga or something.
Yeah, like somebody who's like really committed to like all aspects of performing. Yeah.
Right. But Harry Styles, I don't see as an actor. I don't see him as wanting to be an actor. He definitely seems more of a musician and has been like pretty much his whole career. But he's dating Olivia Wilde.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a whole different controversy before any of this stuff came out.
That's why he got the part.
Yeah, because she was married to the guy who plays Ted Lasso, whose name escapes me. But they were married, and then I guess maybe she cheated on him. Maybe that's just a rumor that she cheated on him with Harry Styles. And then they got divorced.
Dude.
And then now they're still together with Harry Styles. And so now Harry Styles has this part. And that's, I'm sure, a big part of why he got it. Because I don't think he should have gotten it.
Yeah, that very much makes sense as to why he would have got that part. Because I didn't. Because even from the get, when you introduced this movie, I'm like, Harry Styles?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I wanted to get back to that. Because I agree, it's strange.
Yep.
And I guess there was like there's a lot of falling out between Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde over multiple things, like the Shia LaBeouf thing. Because
Florence Pugh also is with Harry Styles.
Nah, that would be funny. But Florence Pugh.
Well, they were hooking up in the movie.
They were. How weird would that be? Olivia Wilde just like directing all these sex scenes with her boyfriend in them.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But Florence Pugh is an actor, and she's a great one. And then Harry Styles probably is not up to her level. So if I was her, I might be a little bit like annoyed by that. Like, he's just not acting with me the way I want him to, whatever. But also, like, with the Shia LaBeouf thing, I'm sure there was, because he's an abuser, Shia LaBeouf. It's
right, yeah, like he shouldn't even got the part in the first place.
Yeah,
like,
so I don't know how that was with Florence and acting with him, like the short period they did. And then with Olivia wanting to take it in a strange direction that I don't think Florence really agrees with on that movie, like the direction Olivia wanted to take it in. Maybe it's not what Florence signed up for, I don't know. But because of all that, Florence Pugh is doing no marketing for this movie at all. Wow. She's not doing any press conferences. She's not making any like interviews or appearances. The only thing she didn't even do the press conference for the Venice Film Festival, which it just premiered over the weekend.
I know, because I'm Googling all these people right now.
It just premiered over that weekend. She did not go to the press conference beforehand, but she was at the red carpet. But she wasn't on the panel. She didn't do any of that stuff. And I'm like, what happened?
That's y'all funky little film. She's like, that's y'all funky little movie, and I'ma just show up and look cute. Wow.
Yeah. And Olivia's been like posting all this stuff like, oh, it's been great to work with Florence Pugh. Like, she's in every scene of this movie. She's a powerhouse. Florence has said nothing about this movie. She said nothing.
So y'all can keep that.
She's like, nah.
People.
I know. So I'll be excited to see it. I heard there's like, now that people have seen it, now that it's premiered at Venice, like, I heard it's not good.
Dang.
So
what a controversy just for it to not be that good.
That makes me more excited to see it though, because I want to see why it's not good. Is it Harry? Right. Is it Florence? Is it the story? You know? Is it the direction? Yeah, so
I'm sure all my grad school friends are gonna want to go see it anyways. So I'm probably gonna end up seeing it.
Yeah, one of my friends who doesn't like horror movies, but I love seeing movies and I really want to see movies with her, and she doesn't want to see any of the ones that I want to see because they're all horror. And she's like, we'll compromise. I really want to see that Harry Styles movie because she really likes One Direction. Or she did back in the day. And I was like, I really don't want to see that movie. But now that there's like controversy, I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm going to go see it when it comes out. And then maybe I'll talk about it on the next podcast episode. But that's all that controversy that's happening. And I'm like excited for it because I love drama. So if there's drama surrounding a movie, or if I hear a movie is really, really bad, I have to see it because I need to know why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's the only thing about that. By the way, like, I know you don't watch a lot of movies, but have you seen any new ones lately?
Yes. Actually, I recently saw Nope.
Oh.
Nope is not new anymore. I think it came out in July.
Yeah.
But I saw it a few weeks ago with my partner, actually. And then immediately after we watched it, we went home and then we watched your TikTok video and your review about it.
Did you agree?
And I want you to know, we disagreed completely. We didn't agree with anything you said.
Wait, what did I even say in that TikTok video that you disagreed with? I don't even remember what I said.
The biggest thing I remember you saying is you were asking yourself why, and basically like what was the point of the movie, and it wasn't really clear. And there's points to it.
I just thought it wasn't strung together very well and wasn't super clear and developed. And my opinion has changed slightly since then. So if you saw my YouTube video where I talk about summer movies, I do kind of adjust that opinion a little bit, but I still kind of think that way, that it was a little bit messy for me.
And I actually do have a very specific opinion on this because I don't remember if it was going into the movie or coming out of the movie. My partner was telling me about how they've heard that from other folks, like another one of our friends who's a filmmaker and also loves Jordan Peele movies. I love Jordan Peele movies. And even she said that like it was lacking social commentary in the way that his first two movies had very obvious, very strong social commentary.
Yeah.
And I can see that because like Get Out, the commentary was very obvious.
Very.
I think with Us, I think that the commentary was a little less obvious than Get Out. Because I went to see Us with my sister who's not a filmmaker, and she was like, I didn't really get it. But
that movie was a little bit messy too.
See, I don't know.
I liked it though.
I just love Jordan Peele movies, and I will eat anything he makes. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't Get Out. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't Get Out, but I still loved it nonetheless. Like I guess I wasn't fully expecting a ton of social commentary on like race or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an absolutely fascinating movie to watch, and I do think that there's definitely like a lot of meaning and commentary that you can get from the movie. I think you just have to like think a little harder. Like I think it wasn't as obvious as it was with Get Out, but I think it's still there. So I do understand what you're saying about it's a little messy and it's not as connected and strung together.
Yeah.
I think folks just got to think a little harder or just appreciate the movie for what it was to watch, you know, appreciate what it is visually.
I didn't dislike it. I liked it. I think I just wanted more from it. Like it felt like there was so many ideas, and I can definitely like see where all those ideas were leading. I just wanted like more, not more ideas, but more of what ideas there were. I feel like there was so many, and they could have been like reined in and expanded upon a little bit. Because I saw multiple themes in it. And it's not that I'm not thinking about it. Like I can like think and like string together and pull straws at what I think different things mean. But I don't know. I just felt like with this movie, like he was trying to say a lot and ended up like not saying enough about like certain things. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're saying, and I understand why you would say that. I think it also just depends on what people want to get out of a watching experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love that movie for no reason other than Keke Palmer. I adore Keke Palmer.
She was great in it.
I love her, and she was so good in this movie.
She was funny in it, for sure.
I loved her, and my dude, Angel, was that his name? Angel? I loved him from the beginning. I could tell when he was on screen, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna love this guy. Like, I hope he's in more of the movie. But yeah, for no reason other than Keke Palmer. Like, it was a 10 out of 10 for me. But
yeah, I like the part where she's like, I knew this guy was gonna come in and bring a non-electrical camera, and then they like high five.
Yes. I I love that part.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was good. What have I seen lately? You know what I've been doing lately? I've been seeing a lot of preview movies, which is like when you see a movie either months, sometimes a year or two before it comes out. And it's like very hush hush. You gotta like, I'm like part of a thing that like sends me like, oh, this new movie starring these people are coming out. Is coming out. And then you gotta like RSVP. It's free, but you have to like sign up and RSVP and like stand in line, get there an hour beforehand. They take your phone and you have to sign an NDA to not talk about the movie until it comes out.
So are you about to tell me about a movie?
I'll tell you about one.
Okay.
I won't tell you the name of it. Well, but like for preview movies, I saw the preview screening for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh wow. Wait, how long ago did you see that?
I saw it about 2 months before it came out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then there's one movie I saw at the very beginning of the year that still has not come out. And it was really bad, and I think that's why it didn't come out yet. I won't tell you what the title is.
Yeah, don't give me details, don't give me actors. Give me something.
Well,
Give me something.
a famous Star Wars actress is in it, who I don't think is a good actor, unfortunately. Very, like, one-dimensional, don't get a lot of range from this person. And it's this movie is, like, I feel like it would be very similar to the movie Where the Crawdads Sing, which just came out. And, you know, it's about a girl who lives in a marsh and whatever. And this movie that I'm talking about that I saw so long ago now and still hasn't come out is also about a girl who grew up in a marsh. And I don't even know really what I can say the genre is, because they were trying to be like a horror thriller, but it was not thrilling and it wasn't scary at all. It was mostly very boring. So,
oh wow.
And that's like the pattern I've seen with a lot of preview movies. I'm like, these are kind of like, some of them are like boring. And I saw, but then at the end of the movie, they give you like a tablet where they ask you a whole bunch of questions about the movie, and you rate it and you give your opinion. You say what you liked and didn't like about it. And I always spend like at least like 30 minutes doing that, because I want to help. I want to give my opinion. I want to tell them what they can change. And recently I went to one for this movie that has an actor I really like in it. And I really like him. And he was definitely the best part of this movie that I just saw. But it was horrible. I hated it so much. I just saw it the other day. It was very unfinished, so it's probably not going to come out for a long time. That's also the thing with preview screenings, is oftentimes like the special effects aren't done yet. So sometimes they'll just have a screen saying what's supposed to happen. And in this one, the audio had not been mixed yet. So like you could hear like all the microphone buzz.
Probably tough to watch. Huh?
It was hard to watch.
And like, was there still something in the story? Like,
yeah, it was like a full movie, but we were missing a few special effects here and there. You could see where they used stock footage because it still said Getty Images over it.
Yeah.
So like the whole, like all the scenes were there, but I don't know. At that point, sometimes you just can't fix a movie. It was so boring. It was supposed to be a drama comedy. It was definitely more of a drama. It ended very sad, and it ended in a very bad, unsatisfying way. I think the reason I go see preview screenings is because I really want to see like early, like big movies. Like I know a lot of people who have seen like Marvel movies months in advance. I know someone who saw Nope like 3 months in advance. Oh, wow. And after Nope came out, they were able to tell us like what they had changed from the preview screening.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because they do change things. Like, I haven't seen Bodies, Bodies, Bodies since I saw the preview screening. And the problems I had with that, I did write about in the survey. And then maybe some things did change. And maybe I would like it more now, because I didn't like it as much when I saw it. So I don't know. But specifically in Nope, they had this whole storyline, this whole side plot that they cut out because the people in the preview screenings thought it didn't make sense and was unnecessary, so they cut it out. So do you know what the
subplot was at all? Or you
I know what it was. So it was basically about this guy who, you know, the part where Steven Yeun's character, he's on the Gordy show. And when they show actually the Gordy show, they show that it's being filmed like the TV show. So the side plot is about the guy, the cameraman who was filming it. So it's basically, and Steven Yeun's character talks about how that guy saved his life because that's also the guy that shot Gordy.
Oh.
Yeah. And the whole Gordy subplot, I really liked. Let me just say I really liked all the Gordy stuff. But I know a lot of people are like, I don't understand why that was there. That didn't really make sense to the rest of the movie. I don't think it had to. Yeah. I liked it anyway. But it was it was more on that. It was about the cameraman that shot Gordy and saved young Steven Yeun's life. And there was like just more about him. There was like scenes with the cameraman, like filming it. And so like when we see that, that's his perspective, and they cut out the scenes before that.
Oh, wow.
So they cut out that whole thing because it didn't play well in preview screening.
I understand that. I think that the Gordy storyline with Jupe's character,
Yeah.
I think they did have to balance that, because I understand why people were like, it doesn't quite make sense. I feel like you're saying, like, you can appreciate it nonetheless because it was very interesting.
Yeah.
But I feel like I said, if you think hard enough, like, you could figure out.
I could connect it to, like, you know, our relationship with nature and animals and the rules that we have with, like, different like with the horses earlier, like, don't look them in the eyes, and then they related that to the alien. It's the same thing with monkeys. Like, you can't really change the nature of a chimpanzee, and that's what they were trying to do, and it bit them in the ass. So
yeah, about like trying to tame, like Jupe was trying to tame the alien thing.
Yeah, and you just can't.
And then they have the horses, the whole thing with all the horses. So yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I see a lot of preview screenings, but so far I've seen them all for, like, not great movies. And I really am hoping... You know what's a movie that is coming out with Timothée Chalamet, who I'm not a fan of, but it's this movie called Bones and All. I believe it also premiered at Venice, and it's about, like, it's like a cannibal bisexual horror movie about these two cannibals that fall in love, I guess. I had the opportunity to preview that, and I didn't because I worked that day.
Oh no!
And I was like, that would have been like the one big movie.
Capitalism strikes again.
I know. And last month I saw a Christmas movie that's, I guess, supposed to come out this December about a killer Santa Claus. So that'll be interesting.
Is it a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
It's a Christmas movie. Well, it's about Santa. It's a Christmas horror movie. And so I hope that also, like, my problem with movies these days in general is that, you know, movies are getting really long. And that's fine if you have substance.
Because why was Nope like 2 hours long?
I know. And it's fine if there's substance to fill that up. But a lot of times in the movies I've been watching that are like over 90 minutes is like the whole middle part like just drags. Yeah. And it's like, you can cut that out. Your movie doesn't have to be 2 hours to be good. It could be 90 minutes and be good. Bring
back the 90-minute movie.
Polish it.
Bring back the 90-minute movie, but at the same time, if a movie is good enough, I'll watch it for 2 hours.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Every movie is not good enough to be 2 hours. Like, you gotta know where you land.
You don't have to, like, show the same scenes over and over again. Because, again, that was my problem with Bodies. Is, like, there was a lot of scenes in the middle of them, like, running around the house, trying to find the person they're looking for, meeting up, and then getting separated again. And then they're alone in the house, and then meeting up, and then getting separated again. They're alone in the house. It's like, why do we I get it. Yeah, exactly. Like, let's cut one of those scenes, make it shorter, make it polished, you know? And they do that with a lot of movies.
Bodies.
It wasn't that long. It was definitely over 90 minutes. I don't remember, but there was just a lot of scenes in the middle of like the same stuff that didn't really lead anywhere. And, you know, I'm not saying you need to have action, but you need to make the in-between stuff interesting and not the same thing you've been showing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, but one thing I wanted to note about the Nope preview screening that I heard about is the guy I know who saw it is black, right? And he went and saw it with another black person and then 2 white friends. So that whole group was 2 white people, 2 black people, right? And at the end of preview screenings, usually there's a focus group with select preview screening audience members. I've done it a few times. I did it for that Christmas movie I talked about, and I like ripped it apart and I talked a lot. And there's been times I've been offered. I saw like a preview screening for an Idris Elba movie recently. That was horrible. It was bad, unfortunately. It's gonna be straight to Netflix, so anyway.
That's
and
the new straight to DVD.
Yeah, and they asked me to be in the focus group, and I was like, you don't want me to be in this focus group.
Right.
Because I didn't like it at all. And usually they only want you to be in the focus group if you liked the movie. But also they need like certain ages. Like they want to make sure they have a good age range. And like they need a certain amount of people who said it was good. A certain amount of people who said it was okay, you know. But anyway, for Nope, the people I know who saw it, the focus group, they all wanted to be in the focus group. And the focus group person came over to them and said...
Don't tell me they only picked the white people. They literally only picked the white people. I knew that's where the story was going when you said 2 black people, 2 white people. I knew that was where the story was going. I was trying to let you tell it, but... like, I knew where... For the... Oh, wait, no, they see my picture. I'm black. Hello.
They see your picture on the special guest part.
Unless, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that is. They went up and they said to the group and they pointed to the 2 black people. They said, we're not going to use you 2. And then to the 2 white people, like, you guys can come to the focus group. And
Yup.
then they went and they did it. And I think, like, it's probably because they're assuming that if you're black, you like the movie.
Wow, that's so funny.
Just because it's Jordan Peele and black people love Jordan Peele.
And we do, but damn.
And so they want to hear the white person's opinion. Like, okay, yeah, we already know you like it. But how do you feel about it?
Wow.
And it's like, you couldn't be less obvious that that's what you're doing here.
Wow. And for the white people to really just pick up and go too and not think that, they just be like,
I know.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if they thought that, like, if they had a lot of black people that they were all just going to be like, yeah, it's great, no changes, or what? Because you can still, like, have something, like, yeah, I liked it,
Yeah,
but this
we
little
do be
thing.
having differing opinions. That's crazy. And maybe, because I'm sure if they're doing the focus group, they need certain ages. They might need certain races or something.
Yeah.
If that was the case, maybe they had, quote, enough black people. So,
I just want to know
maybe-
how many black people they had in that focus group.
That's
They
what I
didn't
wanna
tell
know.
me
That's
that.
what I want to know. That's my rule. Because I'm like, maybe we can give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but like, that's so rude to just approach that one group and just say the white people. That's weird.
I know.
That's weird. We
I
need
know.
better social cues, better understand something got to change.
I
'cause
thought
that's
that was so weird and funny. And I was like, oh my God, stop.
wow, racism at work, folks.
But yeah, if you wanted to know, that's what happened at the Note preview screening.
Is this preview thing like mostly an LA thing?
Yeah, it only happens in LA as far as I know. Some maybe in
yeah.
New York, but yeah, because all the studios are here where I'm
Right.
at in Burbank.
Okay.
So yeah, so they just have preview screenings like all the time for big movies, little movies, and sometimes it is a publicity thing. It's like if it happens just like a month before the movie happens, it's usually just to like get excitement. But sometimes like they really want to hear your opinion and they will make changes. So that's why I like being a part of it, because it makes me feel part of the movie industry, like my opinion matters. So that's movies for you. I'll keep you updated on if any of the movies, the bad movies I've seen come out. I probably
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about those. You should make that like a YouTube TikTok series. Like, I saw the preview screening and here's what's different from the preview to the real movie.
I will.
You should make that a series. Yeah.
The only one I've been able to do that for is Bodies, 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 but I didn't see it when it came out again, so I should.
Yeah, you gotta go out and see it. Yeah.
But when those other movies come out, like I guess I'll have to, even though I hated them. I am curious to see what they change, because the one
see if it got good.
the one I just saw with Ghost of Joseph Gordon-Levitt ended so sad. Like it was supposedly a comedy drama. It was not a comedy at all. It ended horrible and sad. And the first question they asked in the survey was, "Did you like how it ended?" Or a certain thing happened at the end. They said
they must have different endings.
yeah, like they kind of know beforehand like what the problems might be. So like, did you like that this certain thing happened at the end of the movie? And I said no, and I explained why, and it didn't make sense, and it was way too sad to end a movie on.
Yeah.
So it'll be
let 'em
interesting.
know.
I
Let 'em
did.
know.
I tear that shit apart. There'll be some times where they're like, "What scenes did you like?" And I'll write nothing. None of it. I did that for the Idris Elba movie. I was literally like, I didn't like any of it.
I can't wait for those to come out.
Yeah, so when they do, I don't want to watch them again, but I might just to see what's different.
You gotta do it for if nothing else, for the content.
For the content, exactly. Speaking of content, one more thing I wanted to do at the end of our first podcast, because this is something I really want to talk about. I thought about making a video of it on YouTube, but it kind of doesn't fit the content that I'm doing on there. So I thought it'd be good to do it in a podcast. So the show Ink Master, you know Ink Master, yes?
Yeah, fun fact, I have a tattoo from an artist who was on Ink Master. And I didn't know that this artist was on Ink Master. No, wait, yes I did, because they posted about it on their Instagram. But I don't watch Ink Master.
Yeah, so you have one from Kay, who was on Ink Master Turf War, I believe, and which is like artists from like different parts of the world, and they were in groups based on like if they're from the West, Midwest, South, whatever. And I believe she was on that season. So Ink Master, I'm a huge fan of Ink Master. You and I both like tattoos. We both love getting them. We're tattoo enthusiasts, you could say.
We have matching.
We have matching tattoos. We have a sun tattoo that I have on my foot, and you have on your arm.
Son,
we have a sun together. His name is Tattoo. Okay, but anyway, I love Ink Master. I've seen every season. The last season that happened, I was really upset about. It was Ink Master Turf War was the last season. This last season, I watched every week when it premiered. Me and my mom would watch it every Monday. And then it ended right when COVID started. So what happened was they got to the final 3, and it was a very emotional road to get there. The final 3 were like crying. They were so excited. They had their speeches like, I'm going to win. I'm going to show them what I got. And then that episode before the finale ended saying the finale has been canceled due to COVID. Nobody won this season.
Dang.
And I was so upset. I was mad. God. I was mad for months because the top 3, one of them was my favorite of the season. One of them I didn't like, and one of them I thought was really, really good. And so I would have been happy if either my fan favorite or the other guy won. And then over like a Zoom thing, they like showed us their designs because there was no finale at all, so no winner. They like split the prize money or whatever. And they showed us their designs for their finale, and I could like tell who was going to win from that, but we'll never know who was really going to win out of those 3. And again, one of them was my favorite of the season. I was rooting for him the whole time, and he made it to the top freaking 3. It was Jimmy Snaz, who was on that previous season with Kay, and he did not do very good the first season he was on Ink Master. So he came back and he dominated, and it was amazing, and he made it all the way to top 3.
Comeback king.
We do, and he's hot, and so I love to watch him. Okay, so I'm bringing this up because Ink Master is finally coming back for, I think this is the 14th season, and I'm really excited, and I wanted to go over the lineup because not only is it a new cast, they have new judges and a new host.
Oh my God, it's just a whole new show.
It's a whole new Ink Master. And I'm a little sad about the host because the host was Dave Navarro, who I love, this rock star guy. And I loved him. He was, they had a season, I think 2 seasons ago, it was Ink Master Battle of the Sexes, which I thought was weird because they've already had a mix of genders the entire time of Ink Master. There's always been men and women.
Yeah.
That season specifically, they had a woman team and a man team. And it was the most sexist season ever. It was
I bet it was.
And what's fucked up about that is the judges and the host are all men. And it's like, if you're,
If we're making sex and gender a big thing in the season, let's split the judges up.
That's what I thought. And it was fucked up because one of the judges is very obviously sexist. So. And if you're going to have Battle of the Sexes, why have only men? And I like Dave Navarro because he was the only one drinking his Respect Women juice on that show. He was the only one advocating for the women artists out of the judges. So it was Chris Nunez and Oliver Peck were the other two, were the judges. Dave's the host, but he also judges. And Chris and Oliver, more Chris than Oliver, always wanted to go for the men. For like flash challenges, they always like stretched to vote for the men in any way they could. A tattoo of the day, they would always try to vote for men. They didn't always, and I will say a woman did win that season.
Okay.
So that was cool. That was good and made it fine. But up until that point, it was very frustrating because there was one episode in particular where one of the guys didn't finish his tattoo. It was fine for the tattoo that he did finish, but it wasn't finished. And when they were trying to decide tattoo of the day, it was between him and a girl who finished her whole tattoo, and it was pretty good. And it's like a whole thing where like if you don't finish your tattoo, you don't win. If you don't finish, you probably go home. But the judges, Dave voted for the woman. The other 2 judges were like, picked the dude. And I was like, he didn't finish his tattoo. How can you say he has the best tattoo of the day? He did not finish. You've never done that before. And they did that throughout the whole season. And I'm like, I don't see how you can have Battle of the Sexes but only have men judging them. I don't see how that's fair.
No, not at all.
If you have a woman judge and think she's going to be biased towards women, well, what's to say that the men aren't going to be biased towards the men? Because they were. You have
to make it equal. If nothing else, you have to make it equal. Or I bet you, but the thing is, that's crazy. I bet you they would have never even fathomed the idea of having all women judges. They would have never considered that. They would have shot that idea down. They would have been like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're like, that's the problem right there, having Battle of the Sexes, thinking like a woman can't even be a judge on the tattoo show because women aren't as good tattooers as men. It's like, then why even have this season? Why not make it a normal season?
Just make it a regular season.
Just make it a regular season. Yeah. Why do you gotta pit them against each other? Like, it was so weird. But a woman did win, so whatever. But it was weird. And I thought, like, in this day and age, because that premiered in, I think, like, 2019 was that season. I was like, we're having a debate over if men or women are better tattoo artists in 2019. Why are we having that debate now?
Yeah.
But all that to say, there is now a woman judge this season. So, and it's Ryan Ashley, who actually was won Ink Master in season 8. She was the first female tattoo artist to win Ink Master. So, and only 2 have won so far. Her and then the other one I was talking about who won Battle of the Sexes.
Wow.
Yeah, so Ryan Ashley is going to, and she's like one of the greatest tattoo artists I've ever seen. I would love to get a tattoo from her. So she knows her shit. I'm really excited. Definitely look her up. Okay, and then also Nico Hurtado, who's, I guess, a really good color realism artist, and Amy James, a well-known Japanese tattoo specialist. With 30 years of experience. So those are our new judges. We got Ryan Ashley, Nico Hurtado, and Amy James, who I don't know any of those people. Well, I know Ryan Ashley, but the other two I don't really know, but I'm not really, I don't know artists in the tattoo community unless they've been on Ink Master. And then the new host is Joel Madden, who is the lead vocalist and pop punk band Good Charlotte, which is very on brand because Dave Navarro is a rock star, and so they just have another rock guy. I guess it just kind of fits hand in hand. Rock stars who get a lot of tattoos being hosts on a tattoo show. What's his name? Pete Wentz was a host for another tattoo show that only went on for 2 seasons. So.
Oh wow!
But Dave Navarro will return as the Master of Chaos, introducing crazy twists and bombs to the competition. So he'll still be there, so I'll still get my Dave Dave fix, so that'll be good. So now I want to go over the contestants, and this is like an all-star season, so I'm really excited. It's not just a regular season, it's just all-stars from past seasons, legendary fan favorite artists, they say. So I'm gonna go over each of them and say how I feel briefly. Number 1, Katie McGowan. Katie was in Ink Master, Master vs. Apprentice. She was the apprentice, and she was there with her master, Matt Oba. And so it was just like 10 masters and each of their apprentices, and they battled off. And then she came back, I think 2 seasons later, on Ink Master Shop Wars, where it was actually in pairs. So she paired up with Matt Oba, her master. And they made it, I think, to the finale to that season. And the first season she was on, she made it really far. So she's really good. I like her a lot. Next one, Holly Marie. She was on Battle of the Sexes. She did not make it to the finale. I think she's one of the only few coming back that didn't make it to the finale in their season. She's okay. I don't really have too much to say about her. She made it somewhat far. I'm not really betting on this one, to be honest. Next one, Hiram Cassis. He was on Turf War. So he was on the last season. Didn't make it to the finale, but made it pretty far. I want to say he made it to like top 5.
Bro,
so
when you said Hiram, I'm like, the skincare guy?
No. Next, Gian Carle, which is interesting because he was second place to Ryan Ashley on her season when she won. He was runner-up. So he's pretty...
As he should be, because I just looked up her Instagram, and yeah, she goes.
Yeah, she does. But he was runner-up to her. So it'll be interesting having her judge him when she beat him on that season.
That's crazy.
But he's also really good. Next, Deanna James. She was on season 10. She, I think on her season, was like the last girl standing. So she was the last girl on that season, and she made it to, I think, like top 5 or 6. So she made it pretty far on that one. Creepy Jason, who was he was in Ink Master Battle of the Sexes, and he was the only man to make it to the finale. The finale for Ink Master Battle of the Sexes was, there's 3, right, in the finale. It was him, and then it was 2 women, Laura and Danny. Yeah, so he was 3rd place on that season and made it further than any of the other men, and he was like not sexist. So that was great about him, because there was a few guys on there who were like, what are women even doing here? Yo, you guys want to clean up? That's the best that you do. And I'm like, guys, it's 2019.
And the producers probably told them to say stuff like that.
I'm sure they did, but one like really seemed like he was having fun being
like
sexist.
He meant it.
And I was like, bro, chill. But not Creepy Jason. I like Creepy Jason. Okay, 7 is Chris Shockley. And he was on Ink Master Grudge Match, which was, there was teams with these 2 Ink Master guys, Clean Rock 1 and Christian Buckingham, who were each on Ink Master previously but didn't win, and they came back and were coaches. And Chris Shockley was on one of those teams. I don't understand why he's coming back though, honestly, because on his season he had a really bad attitude the whole time. He's like the kind of guy who like
back for the drama.
He like never really smiled. He's like, yeah, I don't care. He did very middle of the road tattoos just to get by. Like he didn't wow anybody. And he didn't make it to the finale, but he made it pretty far, just kind of skating by and not doing anything special. He was like, yeah, I mean, if I don't have to put an extra effort, like, I won't. And it's like, dude, that's a tattoo that's going on somebody's body. If you can do better, do better. You know what I mean? Okay. So I was annoyed by that. I hate when the artists are like, I don't have to go all the way because I'm not at risk at losing. So I'm just going to, like, do a whatever tattoo. And I'm like, how do you think that person that you're putting that on their skin feels about that?
Right.
They want the best tattoo you can possibly give them. Like, give them 100%, even if you don't have to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 8 is Bob Jones. And I'm really excited about that because he was in the top 3 on the last season. And I thought he was probably going to win. He wasn't my fan favorite, but he was really, really good. So he was in the top 3 of that finale that never happened. So he could have been the Ink Master had that happened. And then now he's back. And so I think like he's definitely one to fear for the other artists because he very well could have won. He almost won, you know? And he might have if COVID didn't happen. You know what I mean? So they're basically going against an Ink Master because his like finale piece that he showed us was amazing. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's 2 more. Next one is Angel Rose, who was also, she was in season 11, didn't make it very far, but then she was also in that last season, she was also in the finale. That never happened. She's the one I didn't really like that much. She's not a bad artist. It's just like I didn't think she was Ink Master. And so it'll be interesting to see because making it to the finale, she very well could have won Ink Master, you know? So that's another one to fear. It's like you made it all the way and you could have won if it wasn't for COVID. The last one is Pawn, who's the really sexist one I was telling you about, who is on, he made it far. I think he was like top 4 or 5 of Battle of the Sexes. And I'm really happy he did not make it to the finale because he was so annoying. And he had a wife.
That don't mean nothing.
I know, but I'm like...
They may be hating their wives.
But literally, I'm like, can you imagine your wife watching this and just being, like, embarrassed and horrified at all the sexist shit you're saying to all these women? And saying, like, you're a man, so you're better?
Because he got his check, and he got to be on TV.
Yeah, so I hope he goes home soon in this season. He's going up against such powerhouse tattoo artists.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's bad. He's, like, okay. I didn't really like his tattoos, but he's going against people who, like, made it to the finale and are, like, really, really good and have been on multiple seasons. That, like, I'm hoping that he's one of the first to go. So I don't have to deal with his ass anymore.
Yeah.
And then the last person, my fan favorite from the last season, who made it to the top 3 was Jimmy, and he's not coming back. And I'm like really upset about that. And I understand why, because he's already been on 2 seasons. The first season he made it about halfway through. The last one he made it all the way to top 3. I can understand not wanting to go through the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Right? I get that. I'm just sad because I love him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Ink Master, the new season. I'm really excited to see it. I just imagining like all these incredible artists, like I'm wondering who the first to go home is gonna be and how heartbreaking that would be for them.
Yeah, like
I'm an all-star.
Yeah, and you're the first to go home on
first to go.
Yeah,
but that means we're gonna probably get some really incredible tattoos because like they all know who they're going up against. So it's like they have to give 1,000. Yeah. They have to give 1,000% every time. So that's gonna be cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I would love to get a tattoo from an Ink Master, and I'm jealous that you have.
Okay, I'm curious because I wasn't even. That's crazy because I didn't watch Ink Master. I've never watched Ink Master. I didn't know that this artist was going to be on Ink Master. I think by the time I booked them, like I just loved their art, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Ink Master premieres, and I'm on it. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Wait, I'm curious. Would you ever be on Ink Master?
I've applied.
Oh, wow.
I applied for this season, but I guess they're filming usually they film in New York. And I've applied before in the past before I got like big pieces, and they ask you that. They're like, how long have you sat before? What's the biggest piece you've ever gotten? I'm sure that plays a factor.
Yeah.
And I've applied, and you have to like fly yourself to New York, but the tattoo is free, so like that's fine. But
it would be worth it probably.
I think it'd be worth it. Some people have gotten bad tattoos on that. But if you get a bad tattoo, sometimes you get to come back for Ink Master Redemption and get another tattoo.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool. But this season, I guess, is being filmed in Canada. And when I applied, it said, like, you have to be living in Canada during this time. And I was like, why can't I just fly to Canada? Because this season would have been the season to be on with the All-Stars. Yeah, you're not going to get a bad tattoo on this season. Like, you're not. So I would. I've applied a few times, and I would love to get a tattoo on Ink Master, even though I'm very particular about my tattoos.
Right. Like, it would be worth it. Like, you would take the risk.
I would take the risk. And I wouldn't be an open canvas, because sometimes you go on there, because sometimes they have to tattoo a specific thing for a challenge. And so they get canvases who are an open canvas, meaning they're okay with anything. And you just put anything on them. I wouldn't do that, because I don't want just anything.
Right.
Like, it has to fit my style. So I would be on an episode where it's like, you know, a certain subject, like if they're doing like Victorian style tattoos, or they're doing like a tattoo like on a certain spot but of anything.
Yeah.
And then like I would get to like put in my input of what I want, you know?
Yeah.
But I would, for sure. And there's so many like artists that have been on there that I would love to get a tattoo from. Ryan Ashley, for one. I feel like she's too famous now for me to afford. DJ Tambi, who won a season and was also a coach on a season, is an incredible artist. This guy, Anthony, who won season 9, I think. I don't know. He's also great and was also a coach. Just so many artists. Not even just the ones that won either. Like there's a whole bunch of artists on there that like Katie, I would love to get one. Creepy Jason, I would love to get one. Any of them, really. So I'm just so sad.
Ink Masters are listening to this podcast right now.
Please tattoo me, please.
Oh God, we gonna get you some more tattoos.
I want to. So my artist, who I love, is in Berkeley, and I'm so far away from that, and I have to fly down to get. I have an unfinished piece from him, and I can't finish it unless it's with him, and so I have to like fly down, get a tattoo, fly back home. But that's all I want to say about Ink Master. So this has been good. Let's wrap up. Any other comments? Any other things you'd like to talk about before we go?
Man, I just in conclusion, I just would like justice for Demi Lovato. Truly. Like Demi Lovato deserves like everything good that is coming to them. They've been through so much. Man, what else did we talk about?
We talked about Don't Worry, Darling. Your homework is to see that.
No, I want to go see it.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to talk about that on the next episode, which you might not be on. You're probably not going to be on every episode, but you know, when we meet up again, I will want to get your thoughts on that, because I'm definitely going to see it, and I will talk about it next time I shoot a video or something.
Yeah, I guess I'll begrudgingly go see a Harry Styles movie for some reason.
I'm very interested to see how he acts.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, in conclusion, we're gonna watch that movie, Justice for Demi Lovato.
Y'all should too.
Reminder that I like Pete Davidson and tattoos. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you all for joining the very first episode of Tea with Honey. This is kind of the pilot episode. If it's a little messy, if it's a little unpolished, that'll all be fixed down the line.
It'll just fill out the survey at the end of the podcast and let us know.
Let us know your thoughts, what we can improve on.
What was your favorite segment?
Yeah, I'd love to know. But anyway, yeah, thank you all for joining us. I'm really excited about this and to continue this in the future. Danielle, I'm sure we will see you many times in the future as a regular recurring guest. And thank you for joining me. Me too.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.